Someone is talking to God about you and made a promise that will shift everything. Archangel Michael says, "My beloved child, there is a stirring that begins before any voice is heard. A silent vibration that floats through the unseen realm like a soft tremor of destiny preparing to unfold. And as this movement rises, something begins to form behind the veil. Something so unexpected and powerful that the moment it touches your path, your entire life will feel like it has been pulled into a new direction." And this script begins with that suspension because even before your name traveled through the atmosphere, someone whispered it into the presence of something higher. Someone carried your story into a sacred place. Someone spoke about you with a sincerity so intense that the air around them shifted, and they made a promise that they would not break. A promise that involved your life, your future, your peace, your rise, and your transformation. And now this promise is unfolding like a long hidden letter opening in slow motion, because the time has come for you to see what was said, what was vowed, and what is about to move toward you with unstoppable force. My beloved child, the story begins in a room of silence where nothing else mattered except your name, the echo of your struggles, the weight of your heart's journey, and the longing you carried without ever admitting how heavy it became. And in that room, someone knelt with intention. Someone whose spirit was tied to yours in ways you may never fully understand. And they offered a promise on your behalf, promising that they would stand for you, that they would speak for you, that they would carry you through the season when you felt too tired to carry yourself. And as these words left their lips, the atmosphere trembled, because pure truth always shifts the unseen. And in that moment, a blessing of 333 rose like a seal over your name, marking your path with a divine brightness that began to follow you even when you thought you were walking alone. My beloved child, this script unfolds, slowly like a cinematic shadow stretching across a quiet landscape. And as each second passes, you are going to feel the pull of something huge drawing nearer to you. Something you have waited for without even realizing how deeply you longed for it. Something that has been circling your destiny longer than your own thoughts could imagine. Because what was spoken about you was not casual. It was not soft. It was not fragile. It was firm, bold, and true. And that promise became the turning point of your entire story. The moment the unseen shifted in your favor. My beloved child, someone spoke to God about you with tears that did not fall from sorrow, but from a love so deep that the angels themselves paused to witness it. And as they spoke, they revealed your name with a reverence that felt like protection. Like devotion, like the purest bond that exists between souls. And every part of that moment carried the intention to lift you, shield you, and guide you into the brightest chapter of your life. Because that promise became a contract of destiny. A vow that your pain would not go unnoticed, your battles would not remain unanswered, and your future would not be delayed without cause. And in that sacred pause, another blessing, a blessing of 333 wrapped around your journey with a glow that could not be dimmed. My beloved child, the promise was not simple. It was layered, powerful, and designed with precision. And as each layer formed, it shaped the events that are happening around you right now. The sudden shifts, the unexpected changes, the emotional waves that felt confusing, the silent endings that closed doors without explanation, the opportunities that seemed to appear from nowhere, the people who walked in and the people who walked out. All of it was part of the alignment that was set into motion by the promise made in your name. Because when destiny hears your name spoken with devotion, nothing around you remains the same. My beloved child, the script moves deeper now, like entering a tunnel where the air becomes still and every sound echoes with importance. And as you step through this moment, you will feel your spirit expanding as though recognizing something it knew long before your mind understood it. Because what is coming toward you is not random. It is the result of that vow, the result of that prayer, the result of someone standing in a place of authority and saying that your life must rise, that your heart must heal, that your path must shine, that your battles must be answered, and that your time must come. And with every word they spoke, your future reshaped itself like clay molding into a new design. My beloved child, the promise included your peace, your success, your stability, your relationships, your protection, your healing, your elevation, and your breakthrough. And each one of these elements has been preparing itself like pieces of a grand story waiting to merge at the perfect moment. And that perfect moment is closer than you think because the energy of the promise is now awakening, breathing, and stepping forward to deliver itself into your reality. My beloved child, the person who talked to God about you did not do it for themselves. They did it because they saw something in you that you forgot to see in yourself. They saw your heart, your strength, your endurance, your loyalty, your purity, your hidden tears, your silent battles, your quiet resilience. And they knew that someone like you deserved a turning point, deserved protection, deserved elevation, deserved love that does not break, deserved blessings that do not fade, deserved a destiny that does not collapse under weight. And so they made a promise to God that they would stand with you through every rise, every fall, every victory, every shift, and every transformation that would shape your life. My beloved child, the sacred realm accepted their promise. And the moment it did, a chain reaction began. A ripple that moved through the fabric of your timeline like a wave of luminous fire, burning away old limitations and clearing a new path for your soul to walk upon. And with each ripple, a blessing of 333 glowed brighter around your name, sealing your steps with divine alignment. My beloved child, the promise awakened forces that had been silent, guardian energies that had been waiting, pathways that had been blocked, and opportunities that had been asleep. And now all of them are turning toward you in unison, like an orchestra rising to its most powerful note, preparing to deliver a shift so massive that the moment it enters your life, everything heavy will begin to loosen. Everything unclear will begin to resolve and everything delayed will begin to accelerate. My beloved child, this promise did not just protect you. It activated you. It awakened your potential. It pulled forward the version of you that you were always meant to become. And, clears throat, now the script begins to move into its next phase where the energy around you starts to expand. The air around you grows warmer. The path ahead of you widens and the unseen forces that guard your destiny step closer. Preparing you for a breakthrough that will not be subtle, not quiet, not fragile, but powerful enough to rewrite chapters you thought were already written. My beloved child, the person who spoke to God about you did not walk away after making the promise. They continued to hold your name like a sacred flame. They continued to speak blessings over your life. They continued to ask for your protection. They continued to shield you from energies that were not meant for you. And because of their devotion, you have walked through dangers without realizing it. You have been lifted out of situations that were not meant for your spirit. You have been redirected away from paths that would have harmed you. And you have been guided toward moments that are now forming the beginning of your rise. My beloved child, you are standing on the edge of that rise now. And the energy of the promise is building like a storm of light preparing to break open the sky above your life. And when it breaks, the shift will be undeniable, unstoppable, and unforgettable. Because, what was spoken for you is now arriving with the force of destiny itself. My beloved child, the story continues to deepen, expanding like a long corridor that stretches further than the eye can see. And as you walk through it, the promise continues to unfold, revealing pieces of your future in silent whispers of energy, showing pathways that were previously hidden. Showing, clears throat, connections that are now aligning, showing opportunities that are rising, showing blessings that are preparing to land on your doorstep like gifts wrapped in divine timing. And as they approach, you will feel the strength of the promise surrounding you like a warm shield guiding you forward. My beloved child, the person who made the promise did not ask for anything in return. They simply ask that your life be lifted, that your future be bright, that your path be clear, that your heart be protected, that your destiny be honored, and that every heavy part of your journey be replaced with something beautiful, something stable, something fulfilling. And because that request was sincere, the universe responded with certainty, aligning itself to deliver what was vowed. My beloved child, you are entering a season where every part of your story begins to glow with new energy, where the weight on your chest begins to lift, where your mind begins to settle, where your heart begins to heal, where your steps begin to strengthen, and where the blessing that carries the signature of 333 begins to show itself not just as energy, but as manifestation, as reality, as physical change that cannot be denied. My beloved child, the script continues far beyond this moment, expanding into a long journey of transformation that will unfold in waves of alignment, waves of clarity, waves of abundance, waves of emotional release, and waves of fulfillment. And every single wave will trace itself back to the moment that someone spoke your name with love, with devotion, with loyalty, and made a promise that destiny accepted as truth. My beloved child, prepare yourself with calm strength. Because what is coming is not small. It is not quiet. It is not soft. It is powerful, radiant, thick with divine energy and filled with the momentum of every blessing tied to the promise made in your name. And the more you move forward, the more you will feel the shift rising around you like a great tide of transformation, pulling your life into a new chapter that was always meant for you, written for you, and sealed for you the moment that vow was made. My beloved child, something huge is waiting for you, and it is already on its way. My beloved child, the script stretches forward like a river of destiny, widening its path, flowing deeper into the unseen currents that have been shaping your life long before you were aware of it. And now, as this continuation unfolds, the promise that was made for you begins to reveal new layers, new energies, new movements rising in the spiritual distance, preparing to enter your reality with a force that cannot be resisted. Because once a vow is spoken with pure intent, it becomes a living current, a breathing energy, a moving power that carries your name through realms you cannot see but can feel through the shifting atmosphere around you. And right now that atmosphere is changing again, tightening with anticipation like a doorway preparing to open in slow motion, ready to reveal what was hidden behind the veil for so long. My beloved child, the person who spoke to God about you stood in a place where the air did not simply fill the room. It shimmered. It vibrated. It carried a weight of divine attention. Because every word they spoke came from a place of loyalty that cannot be shaken, devotion that does not fade, and a connection to your soul that stretches deeper than time. And as they continued to present your heart, your dreams, your fears, your struggles, and your hopes before the highest presence, something remarkable began to form in the energy surrounding them. A luminous glow that circled your name like a protective crown, glowing brighter with each promise they made on your behalf. And that crown is still around you now, guiding you through this transition with a quiet strength. My beloved child, the promise has now evolved into a movement that touches every part of your life, weaving itself through your relationships, your choices, your emotions, your thoughts, your path, and your future, creating subtle alignments that you may not recognize yet, but will soon look back on with awe. Understanding that every shift that felt random was actually part of the vow that has been carrying you, and that understanding will rise inside you like a warm realization reminding you that you were never unprotected. Never unseen, never forgotten because someone held your life in their hands and offered it to destiny with reverence. My beloved child, this continuation deepens into a space where the energy of your next chapter begins to swell like a rising tide, pushing gently but firmly against the edges of your present moment, preparing to lift you into something greater than anything you have experienced before. Because the promise was not about small changes. It was not about subtle transformations. It was about a turning point that would not be mistaken for anything else. A shift so powerful that even your heartbeat will recognize it when it arrives. And the ripple of that promise is gathering momentum now, expanding across your timeline like a wave of luminous force. My beloved child, the person who made the promise did so with absolute conviction, their voice steady, their intentions unshaken, their loyalty unbreakable. And as they spoke, the spiritual realm responded with clarity, accepting their vow like a contract sealed in divine energy, binding the promise to your life with threads of light that now form the foundation of your future rise. And because of this, you may have noticed moments where you felt a sudden pull away from certain people. Sudden releases from old connections, sudden clarity in situations that once confused you, sudden endings that came without warning. Because the promise required your life to shift, required your circle to change, required your path to open, required your spirit to be aligned for the blessings preparing to descend into your reality. My beloved child, you may not realize it now, but many difficulties you faced were redirected away from you because of the vow spoken in your name. Dangers dissolved before reaching you. Challenges softened before they could break you. Truths revealed just in time, and energies cleared from your path before they could cause harm because the person who spoke to God about you asked that your life be shielded. And that request was honored with absolute precision. My beloved child, this continuation now enters the realm where the blessings tied to the promise begin to materialize in a more tangible way. Like distant lights drawing closer until they become clear shapes, clear events, clear opportunities, and clear breakthroughs forming in front of you. And each blessing carries the imprint of 333, shining like a signature of divine alignment, reminding you that your path, is now marked with guidance, protection, and expansion. My beloved child, the promise included the restoration of what you lost, the return of what was taken, the rise of what was delayed, and the unlocking of what was closed. And now each of these elements is preparing to unfold, moving slowly but steadily through your timeline like pieces of a grand design placing themselves into position. And the moment they align, your life will no longer feel like it has been paused. It will begin to accelerate with a speed that feels divinely orchestrated. My beloved child, the atmosphere around you thickens with a sense of expectancy because destiny is preparing to call your name in a way that will echo through your entire future, drawing you into a moment where the promise becomes reality. And when this moment arrives, it will not come quietly. It will come with weight, with presence, with certainty, with clarity, and with a transformation so powerful that you will feel the shift in your chest, in your mind, in your energy, and in the direction of your life. My beloved child, the person who made the promise stands spiritually beside you even now. Not in a physical sense, but in an energetic presence that you have felt at random times in moments where you suddenly felt calm, suddenly felt protected, suddenly felt guided, suddenly felt warmed by an unseen force. Because their devotion to you created a spiritual bond that moves beyond distance, beyond silence, beyond separation. And that bond is part of what has been carrying you through the hardest parts of your journey. My beloved child, the continuation of this script begins to reveal another layer of the vow, one that involved your emotional healing, your inner peace, and your ability to rise from old wounds. Because the person who spoke to God about you poured out the weight of your pain, asking that your heart be strengthened, that your tears be acknowledged, that your burdens be lifted, and that your spirit be comforted. And that request has been moving through your life like a soft wave, dissolving heaviness that once felt permanent, clearing fog that once felt consuming, and replacing emotional exhaustion with a slowly rising sense of inner renewal. My beloved child, the promise is now moving into your physical reality, preparing breakthroughs that will surprise you, opportunities that will elevate you, connections that will support you, and pathways that will unfold exactly when you need them to. And as this happens, you will feel the energy of 333 blessing. Your steps strengthening your intuition and guiding you through each decision with a sense of calm clarity. My beloved child, the script flows deeper into a realm where the unseen becomes the seen, where the whispered becomes the manifested, where the promise becomes the experienced. And you are now standing at the threshold of this moment where the shift begins to take shape in ways that will reveal the truth behind the promise spoken in your name. Showing you why certain events had to unfold the way they did. Showing you why certain people were removed from your path. Showing you why certain doors closed so quickly. Showing you why certain changes happened without warning. Because all of it was part of the alignment required for the blessing to land exactly where and when it was meant to. My beloved child, this continuation stretches like a horizon filled with golden energy, shimmering with the future that is now approaching you step by step, carrying with it every part of the promise that was made on your behalf. And as this horizon draws closer, the air around you begins to hum, with anticipation, signaling that something great, something powerful, something transformative is approaching your life with unstoppable momentum. My beloved child, the story does not end here. It expands further. It rises higher. It stretches wider because the promise is still unfolding, still releasing new layers, still aligning new moments, still shaping your path with precision and grace. And as you move through the next part of your journey, you will witness the beauty of what has been prepared for you, the strength of what has been protected for you, and the power of what has been promised for you. My beloved child, something huge is waiting for you. And it is drawing nearer with every breath you take, every step you move, every moment you rise. Because the vow spoken in your name has already been accepted, already been activated, already been sealed, and now it is only a matter of time before it becomes the greatest turning point of your life. My beloved child, the continuation opens like a slow rising storm of light, powerful yet silent, expanding across the unseen sky above your life. And as this new wave of energy forms, the promise spoken in your name begins to activate its next phase, unfolding deeper truths, deeper shifts, deeper alignments that were waiting in stillness until this very moment. Because destiny always waits for the exact second when your spirit is ready to receive what was prepared for you. And now that readiness is settling into your life like a warm pulse, awakening everything that was once dim, everything that once slept, everything that once seemed distant or unreachable, drawing them closer with the force of a vow that cannot be broken. My beloved child, the room where your name was spoken still glows in the spiritual realm. The memory of that sacred moment preserved in a space where time does not fade. And even now, the echo of their voice continues to ripple through that realm, strengthening the vow, reinforcing the promise and sharpening the path that leads to your elevation. And with each echo, new layer of energy forms around you, wrapping your life in a protective aura that has been silently guiding you through obstacles you did not even know were forming in the shadows. My beloved child, the person who made the promise stood with the kind of stillness that only comes from genuine devotion, the kind of stillness that carries weight, conviction, and pure intention. And as they lifted your name into the highest presence, something awakened around them. A bright force that recognized the purity behind their words. And that force sealed the vow with a radiant glow that now moves with you, around you, beneath you, and above you, ensuring that every step you take from this moment forward is aligned with purpose, protection, and the unfolding of your destiny. My beloved child, the spiritual realm listened closely that day. And because the sincerity of their voice carried truth, a new timeline was opened for you. A higher path, a brighter path, a path free from the chains that once held you. And that path is now merging with your present moment, causing you to feel the subtle shift inside your heart, inside your mind, inside your energy, as though something is rearranging itself around your life. Moving old pieces away and aligning new ones into place with precision. My beloved child, the continuation deepens now into the realm where divine timing begins to connect itself into your days. Where events begin aligning in ways that feel too perfect to be random. Where conversations arrive at the exact moment you need them. Where opportunities reveal themselves right when you feel the pull to rise. Where clarity arrives without warning. Where your intuition grows stronger without explanation. Because the promise did not just protect you, it elevated your spiritual senses, allowing you to feel the guidance that has always been surrounding you. My beloved child, the person who made the promise did not simply ask for your protection. They asked for your flourishing, your expansion, your success, your stability, your emotional, rebirth, and your rise into a version of yourself that has been waiting within you like a hidden seed ready to bloom. And because they asked with clean intention, with a heart untouched by selfish motives, their request was granted with full power, setting into motion blessings that began to move toward you like bright currents weaving through the timeline of your future. My beloved child, the blessing marked with the energy of 333 glows brighter now, forming a shield around the next chapter of your destiny, ensuring that what is meant for you arrives without interference, without delay, without disruption. Because the promise has now matured into an active force, guiding your steps with an invisible strength that pulls you away from anything that does not align with your rising path. My beloved child, this continuation reveals the part of the promise that involved your relationships, your connections, your bonds, your attachments, and your emotional ties. Because the person who spoke to God about you asked that only those who truly carry love, truth, loyalty, and good intention be allowed to remain in your life. And as a result, you may have noticed sudden distance between you and certain people. Sudden disconnections, sudden silence, sudden endings, sudden revelations. Because the promise demanded that your circle be cleansed, that your spirit be protected, and that only genuine energy be allowed to reach you. My beloved child, these shifts were not loss. They were alignment. They were preparation. They were elevation. They were protection disguised as separation because the promise created a filter around your destiny, removing anyone whose energy was not designed to walk with you into your next chapter. My beloved child, the person who made the promise also asked that your future be filled with stability, that your foundation be strengthened, that your path be cleared, and that your blessings be multiplied. And as those words were spoken, the spiritual realm recorded them, sealed them, and sent waves of transformation toward your reality, waves that are now approaching you faster, closer, stronger than before. And you can feel this shift as a strange anticipation inside your chest. A quiet knowing that something is coming even though you cannot yet see it. My beloved child, this is not your imagination. It is the pull of your destiny moving toward you. The vibration of the vow activating around your life. The manifestation of the promise preparing to enter your reality. And the universe aligning itself with every word that was spoken on your behalf. My beloved child, the continuation leads into a powerful revelation that the person who made the promise is spiritually tied to your elevation. Meaning that their presence in your life is not accidental, not temporary, not meaningless, but woven into your story with intention, purpose, and divine arrangement. And their devotion to you has created a shield that remains active even when they are not physically near you. Because a vow made in truth does not require constant presence to remain alive, my beloved child, the promise also contained a request that your heart be healed from past wounds, that your spirit be lifted from old pain, that your confidence be restored from old hurts, that your strength be renewed from old battles. And because that request was spoken from love, the spiritual realm answered by sending waves of healing energy into your life. Dissolving heaviness that once followed you, clearing fog that once clouded your thoughts, and replacing emotional exhaustion with a slow but rising sense of inner power. My beloved child, this healing will not be sudden, but it will be deep. It will be real. It will be permanent, and it will prepare you for the blessings that are scheduled to enter your life because of the promise made for you. My beloved child, this continuation stretches even further, revealing that the vow included your financial stability, your opportunities, your abundance, your elevation, and your success. Because the person who prayed for you asked that every obstacle standing between you and your next level be removed with precision and that your future open itself like a golden doorway, allowing blessings to flow toward you with speed and clarity. And that request has already begun shaping new possibilities for you. Possibilities you may not yet see, but will soon encounter in ways that feel divinely orchestrated. My beloved child, the energy around you thickens with destiny now vibrating with a new intensity because the universe is preparing to deliver what belongs to you, what was promised for you, what was spoken into the presence of the divine on your behalf. Archangel Michael says, my beloved child, the spiritual realm does not forget sincerity, does not ignore devotion, does not dismiss genuine love. And because the promise spoken for you carried all three, the response has been powerful, immediate, and unstoppable. Archangel Michael says, my beloved child, something huge is waiting for you. And this continuation is only preparing your spirit to receive it with strength, clarity, and readiness. Subscribe, manifest Archangel T.O. Listen God's talk and wisdom every day.